"My child, if you turn away now, I will withdraw from you forever." Those words stirred something deep inside you, didn't they? Good. It means your spirit still senses the weight of eternity pressing on this very instant. You're about to realize why your guardian angel crossed every boundary to make sure you heard this message today. They used their one and only emergency right to reach you, because what unfolds next decides whether heaven moves for you again. Pause everything else. That alert can wait. The thought telling you this is ordinary is deception, sent to pull you away from your purpose. Only a few were chosen to receive this divine signal. 2 already turned away. You remain. You are the final chance. Walk away now, and this divine call will pass to another soul, and the door will close for years to come. You can feel it, can't you? That sudden pressure in your chest, that wave of awareness that something unseen is shifting. Your spirit recognizes truth before your mind can name it. This isn't luck or chance. It is intervention. Divine power cutting through layers of resistance to reach you exactly where you are. Listen closely. Your name has been declared in heaven, not softly but with authority. You are being summoned into a destiny that can still be redeemed if you choose to receive this call. The accuser assembled years of evidence against you. Every moment you chose ease over purpose. Every delay disguised as later. Every prayer left unfinished because distraction seemed more appealing. Every dawn when you reached for your phone instead of my presence. The proof was overwhelming. The verdict was moments away from being sealed. Then your guardian angel stepped forward and broke all protocol. They activated the mercy clause, something that can be used only once in a lifetime. They brought forth unseen testimony. The private wars you endured. The silent tears you shed when you thought I was far away. The strength it took to keep going when you wanted to disappear. The compassion you offered while your own heart was breaking. Heaven went silent. The gavel froze in motion. I uttered 4 words that shifted eternity. Give them one more chance. That moment is now. These words are that chance. Here's what the darkness hoped you would never uncover. You are not ordinary, not random, not replaceable. You carry something that terrifies the shadows. Forces have been assigned to keep you distracted and content with less than what you were created for. They know the magnitude of what you carry, even if you haven't fully seen it yet. They understand that if you ever awaken to the full truth of who you are, if you ever surrender completely to what I placed within you, the entire grip they hold over your lineage will shatter. You believe your exhaustion comes from pressure, work, or time, but that's not the real cause. You have been weary because your spirit has been fighting unseen wars while your body sleeps. Each night, without your awareness, your soul has stood against forces determined to end your purpose before it ever reaches light. That's why rest feels shallow, why dreams blur into battles, why peace slips through your grasp. You've been in conflict without realizing it. But I have seen it all. I have watched every moment of resistance, traced every scar, recorded every tear. Heaven's record holds 43,000 entries of your endurance, your pain, your quiet persistence when surrender seemed easier. That number is not symbolic. It is precise. Now heaven stands ready to act, but it begins with you choosing not to treat me as an afterthought. Let me open your eyes to what you've never grasped. The world conditioned you to see me as a last resort, a distant safety net, an invisible supplier you call on when life breaks. It taught you that I am remote, detached, and occasionally involved. But I have never been far. I have been waiting, patiently, powerfully, intimately, for you to realize I was beside you all along. That illusion is the oldest deception ever crafted. I am not far away. I am closer than your next inhale. The pulse that keeps you alive beats in rhythm with mine, and every spark of thought moves through the awareness of my being. You overlook me only because you've forgotten the truth of who I am. You've reduced my presence to routine, to ceremony, to moments of emergency. But I am the one whose whisper gave birth to galaxies, whose will holds every molecule in balance, whose gaze tracks the shifting of stars and the fall of a single strand of your hair. Yes, when you brushed it this morning, 3 strands fell. I saw each one. That is how deeply I am woven into your existence. Still, you live as though my involvement is optional. You reach for your screen before you reach for my presence, map your day without consulting the author of your future, and choose paths guided by fear or logic instead of my whisper. You've mistaken my patience for approval, my silence for indifference, my mercy for frailty. But now I will remind you who I am. Recall Saul, the man I elevated, the one I anointed and crowned with triumph after triumph. He was chosen, empowered, and given favor beyond measure, until he forgot the source of it all. Success made him forget where his strength came from. Authority convinced him that his reasoning was wiser than my direction. He reshaped my instructions to suit his comfort, offered fragments of obedience, and called it devotion. When correction came, he defended himself instead of repenting. He cared more about the approval of people than the approval of heaven. So I withdrew my presence, my spirit departed. His end was ruin, not because my love faded, but because he stopped recognizing me in his life. That same pattern shadows you now. Each time you prioritize the world over my presence, you craft another page of distance between us. Every time you mute my whisper to chase noise, you strengthen the barrier I will not break by force. Free will was my gift so you could choose love, not destroy yourself through neglect. Yet you have spent it chasing everything except me. You pray only when need drives you. You open my word when time drags. You lift your voice in worship when emotion stirs. You serve only when it fits your plans. But I am not seasonal or occasional. I will not settle for fragments. I am not interested in what remains after the world has taken its share. I want the beginning of your day, the center of your focus, the fullness of your heart. I will accept nothing less than all of you. The world has trained you to approach me lightly, to speak my name without awe, to stand before holiness as if it were common. But I am sacred beyond comprehension. Angels hide their faces before me and never stop crying, holy. My presence reshapes creation. Mountains dissolve, seas divide, stars bow. My glory is so radiant that no mortal can gaze upon it and survive. Yet you come to me as if I were a companion on demand, a dispenser of blessings, a last resort when all else fails. You have forgotten reverence, and in forgetting it, you have lost the foundation of wisdom. Still, even after all your neglect and indifference, my love for you burns with a power that could consume the universe. It is only my mercy that tempers it so you can survive its intensity. I measure my love carefully, not because it is weak, but because your frame cannot yet bear its full strength. Do not confuse that restraint with indifference. My desire for you is fierce, my longing older than time itself. Before the earth spun, before light touched darkness, I chose you. Your name was already written in my breath. Now hear this. This is the moment everything either shifts or stays the same. In the coming days, I will send 3 clear, undeniable signs, no confusion, no coincidence. They will confirm that I am the one speaking to your heart now. The first will arrive soon, unmistakable and direct, so that you will know this word is alive. Someone from your past, a voice you have not heard in years, will reach out with words that touch the very thing you've been quietly praying about. That will be the first sign. The next will appear the following day. Something you once believed was gone forever will show a hint of life again, an opening where you thought there was only finality. The last will happen on the 3rd day, a tangible change in your body, whether healing, release, or renewed strength, confirming that heaven has moved on your behalf. But these signs are not automatic. They require action. From this moment, for the next 3 days, seek me as if breath itself depends on it, because it does. When morning comes, rise at exactly 5:55, not earlier or later. That moment carries meaning in the unseen. Before you stand, before you reach for anything, speak these words aloud. I choose you above all. I yield my plans to your purpose. I am listening. Then be still. Don't speak. Don't read. Simply listen. My response will come, perhaps as a quiet thought, a warmth within, or sudden clarity about what you've been avoiding. You'll recognize my voice because it will touch the fear you've hidden the deepest. Now act without delay. Remove 3 distractions from your phone immediately. They have been stealing the space where I've been trying to speak. You already know which ones. They're the apps that drain your focus, feed comparison, and keep your mind spinning in noise. Heaven cannot install new instructions while your heart is cluttered with distractions. This isn't about rules, it's about cleansing your spirit. You wouldn't eat from a filthy dish, so stop nourishing your soul from polluted sources. Now do this. Message the first person who comes to mind with these words. I've been praying for you. Don't justify it or explain it. Just send it. That person needs to be reminded that heaven still remembers them, and your obedience in this moment will become the spark that restores their hope. Here's what many never grasp. Every choice in the visible world echoes powerfully in the invisible one. When you pick faith over comfort, angelic forces move. When you make space for my presence above your plans, the heavens respond. When you act on my word without needing to understand, invisible chains fall. But when you dismiss my guidance, when you stall, when you treat my direction as optional, you open doors for the enemy to claim ground that was never his. That's why your resources have been strained, why relationships keep unraveling, why sickness lingers, and why peace and joy seem distant. You've unintentionally surrendered authority through neglect. Each time you ignore me, darkness collects a debt, and it has been gaining interest on what you were meant to own. But tonight, in this very moment, heaven is extending a complete reset. Not because you have earned it, no one could. Not because you are worthy, you aren't by your own merit. It is offered because my love defies logic. I love you fully aware of every mistake behind you and every failure still ahead. I love you knowing the times you will forget this encounter and drift again. Yet my love remains. But love seeks response, and yours has been missing. Let me share something with you. James from Detroit received the same message 3 weeks ago. He almost ignored it, ready to scroll past, but something within told him to pause. He followed the instructions despite his doubts. Within 3 days, a company that had already rejected him called back. They said an error had been made. He was hired with twice the pay he expected. But the real miracle wasn't the job. It was that he began rising every morning at 5:55 to meet with me. For the first time in 43 years, he recognized my voice, not through sound but through certainty. And everything shifted. Then there was Maria from Brazil. She saw these words 6 months ago and dismissed them. She assumed there would be another chance, that tomorrow would be safer, that control was still hers to keep. But tomorrow never arrived the way she imagined. Last month, everything Maria had built unraveled. Her business, her relationship, her health, all of it collapsed within 3 weeks. She reached out yesterday in regret, saying she wished she had listened. She's rebuilding now, but half a year of destiny was lost. Time she can never reclaim. Time cannot be recycled, and opportunity doesn't last forever. Grace moves in seasons, and when a season closes, it rarely reopens the same way. Then there's David from London. He typed 777 through tears. That night, he had planned to end his life. The pills were ready, the note was written, but something urged him to stay and finish reading first. The moment he entered those numbers, warmth surged through his chest. Not symbolic warmth, but real, tangible heat, as though unseen arms wrapped around him. Instead of taking the pills, he called for help. 3 months later, he's alive, guiding others who now stand where he once stood. He says, typing 777 saved my life. But it wasn't the numbers, it was the act of surrender. It was obedience over despair. It was finally saying yes to hope instead of darkness. Right now, all of heaven is focused on you. Angels stand still, waiting for your decision. The witnesses who have gone before lean forward in expectation. Every eye in the unseen realm is fixed on this instant. Will you brush it aside as another emotional message? Will you feel conviction for a moment and then slip back into old rhythms? Or will you recognize that this is the crossroads heaven has been preparing you for since before you knew its name? Your mother's prayers are still alive. Even if she has left this world, her words continue to echo in the courts of heaven, building spiritual momentum, waiting for your heart to come into alignment through obedience. Your breakthrough reaches beyond your own story. It fulfills the intercession of those who have stood between you and destruction. It unlocks blessings meant to flow through you into generations not yet born. It touches every life you were destined to influence once you start living from purpose instead of pain. But none of it unfolds if you keep taking my presence lightly. Nothing shifts if you treat this as mere inspiration rather than a summons from eternity. Heaven has moved everything it can without violating your choice. The path is clear, the provision released, the messengers ready, the miracle suspended in waiting. But it requires your decision. You must reach toward it. You must choose it. You must act. Mark this moment as your turning point. Let your response be a visible agreement between your will and heaven's intention, a declaration that from this instant, I come first. Not someday, not when it's easy. First. When you do, the unseen realm responds, and what has been pending begins to move into motion. Resources that have been waiting in heaven's vaults are about to be released. Angels who have stood in readiness will move at your command. Miracles once reserved for the distant future will shift into the present. Then I want you to share this message with 3 specific people, not everyone. Just the 3 whose names or faces appeared in your mind as you read this. One of them has been weeping in secret. One is standing on the edge of a choice that could destroy their purpose. One believes I've turned away. You are meant to be the proof that I have not forgotten them, but it only happens if you obey, if you act without hesitation. The spiritual window that opened when these words reached you is closing soon. This is not a figure of speech. The atmosphere that made this message reach your heart is shifting even now. When it closes, it will not reopen for a long time. Years of wondering what might have been, of watching others step into blessings that had your name on them. Or in this very heartbeat, everything can change. You can stop repeating the same delays. You can break the cycle of treating my presence as optional. You can begin the path I set before you, long before you took your first breath. You can rise into the version of yourself heaven has always seen, the one radiant with light, unshakable and feared by darkness. You can shift from barely surviving to overflowing with life, from overlooked to chosen, from wounded to whole. But the decision must be made now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Later is the most convincing lie hell ever crafted. In this very breath, this heartbeat, this instant, choose me and I will unveil myself to you in ways that make every past encounter feel dim compared to what's coming. Choose me and watch divine power dismantle impossibility. Choose me and discover what it means to live completely awakened, entirely loved, deeply known, and supernaturally strengthened. The clock is running. Your destiny waits. Your miracle hovers. Heaven leans in. Hell trembles. Angels stand ready. This is your interruption, your divine spark, your moment of transformation. Everything you have longed for begins the moment you decide. The seal is set, the order released, and the movement of heaven has already started.